Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Allison Cruz, and I'd like to formally welcome you to the bonus episode of Shadow of the Colossus. Today we're just gonna more or less be detailing a couple of things that you can do once you've beaten the game, because as you know, the developers placed heavy emphasis on being able to replay this game over and over, further increasing your stamina and health so that you might have a better time taking on the Colossi that you otherwise might have had trouble with. This includes unlocking time attack mode and having all of the fruit and lizards of the world respawn just so that you can further increase your stats, as well as a plethora of new things. But going from version to version, there aren't a lot of differences. However, as you would expect, there are some exclusivities to be found on the PS4 version. So here we can continue with a further New Game Plus, and you can keep stacking them over and over. There's some ways that you can actually cheese and maxing out your stamina. So basically fighting the first two Colossi over and over and then starting a New Game Plus over that file will keep your stats but respawn the Colossi. Just keep in mind you have to beat the game in order for the lizards of the world to respawn, in case you really want to do that. But one of the new things that we can really kind of touch on is the image gallery as well. This is super cool. If you guys are a fan of, I guess the channel, then you would know that I am pretty into stuff like this. It's a good time to see the concept art and the character models, and you get to see some really cool stuff for this. So I really wish this was around in the other versions of the game, because I would be using this concept art like crazy. So yeah, it's a good time. But you do, of course, need to unlock it by doing some really weird things. So defeating Colossi on easy difficulty, it does not retroactively go back and unlock the easier ones, because obviously I've beaten this game multiple times on hard and normal in order to unlock these, but you still have to go back and do them on easy. And on top of that, there's also reminiscence mode, which I'm pretty sure we covered at some point in the past, but you got some comparisons here too, which will definitely really show just how good this game looks. I mean, scaling back that awful washed out lighting, like I never realized it was actually that bad in the PS3 version, but it is really a sight to behold in this version. So, and the character models, don't even get me started on that. They added a little bit more, I don't know, characterization and seasoning. See, now on the left, that looks like they purposefully made it look terrible, but that just hurts my eyes, man. So that's really fun. I just don't like having to go through this on easy and reminiscence mode. It's not fun, but there's a lot of stuff you can look into there, as well as some settings. I did mention that there are HDR options. You can enable photo mode. You can literally turn off every aspect of the HUD in this, which makes it incredibly cinematic, including your reticle. So if you want to, you can go into cinematic mode, which I do not prefer. So we'll go and just leave it back on performance, which will favor frame rate. And on top of that, we also have, midnight mode control audio. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a little bit, because this game does incorporate that to an annoying degree. But I think that's basically it here. Now, instead of continuing a New Game Plus file, we're actually gonna just start a new game. And after selecting the file that you want to, inherit the stats of, you can choose easy, normal, hard. We'll just go hard. And there is now a mirrored world aspect to this game. And I gotta tell you, this is trippy as hell. For somebody who is so familiar with the layout of this game, it's just one of those things where it just blows your mind how different it is just by simply mirroring the world. It's very interesting, and I highly suggest you all check it out at some point, because it could really breathe life into this old game. But I'm not gonna lie, those load screens are a little gnarly. So, the game is gonna tell us about our unlocks, which we've had for a while, and interestingly enough, we have yet to look at them on this version. So of course we have the Massive Strength and Power, both of which increase the damage Wander does to Colossi, which is fun stuff, but we'll take it off. Shaman's Mask will increase defense, which is cool. It looks probably like one of my favorites, but don't really need defense when you have all that health. And then the Cloak of Force, increased damage, increased defense. Now, The Cloak of Deception, among one of my favorite items to use just casually out in the world. You can actually use this to great effect against Malice, the final Colossus. If you just pop it on and run across the battlefield, he won't notice you. Colossi will just not know what to do when you're around, and I know I've played around with this specific item in some earlier videos just to kind of show off how cool it is. But it's kind of one of those things where it's a little useless when you're not doing much with it. So you play around with that. But we've also got Sword of the Sun. Allows a light beacon to operate even in patches of shadow. It's weaker than your normal sword, not a fan. But we also have the Queen's Sword, which we demonstrated against our old friend Argus of the Parthenon. It's a good time, and generally the way that you would probably want to kill Colossi. Whistling Arrow to distract enemies from afar. Flash Arrows, which are, bomb arrows. Harpoon of Thunder, we already know all of this. The Lizard Detection Stone, Fruit Tree Map. But we also have the Cloth of Desperation, which I don't think we really had to use all that much, but you can definitely utilize it when getting to certain Colossi or other collectibles, and we'll get into that later. So, new to this version of the game is the Cursed Wander skin. This is unlocked by defeating 10 Colossi on hard time attack mode. So it's purely cosmetic, but easily one of my favorite sort of looks that Wander has about him. And of course, you have the steeds and the crested Angro. So I, of course, just to keep in tune with our playthrough, kept him white, but we'll go with crested. And let me just go ahead and throw off the Cloak of Deception so we can take a look at our new face and body. It's pretty cool. You can wear masks with it and still have the glowing eyes through, but look at that. That's creepy, but very, very cool. I like it a lot. So from here, I was thinking about what we could possibly show off, but I think we're going to keep it kind of short. We've been here for a minute already, and aside from fighting some of the Colossi and showing just how easy it is to absolutely wreck them, we have our mirrored world and all, but let's go head around the side here. It's going to be along this side because we're mirrored, and we're actually going to climb to the top of the shrine. This is a bit of a rite of passage for all Shadow of the Colossus players, and it's something that is extremely difficult to do unless you have a very high amount of stamina. And basically what we need to do is make our way all the way around those parts and make it up there without dropping. If you do, it's not a big deal, but keep in mind there are actually a couple of spots where you can rest, and I don't know if I'll be able to do it much here on account of the fact that it's flipped like this, but let's go and make our way up, and we can maybe have a little chat along the way on some of the other things that you can do in this game. So one of my favorites, well, going through the world in non-mirrored mode, is finding the new Boon of the Nomad. And before I pop that footage up, if you head over here to these red flowers, there's a small place here that you can actually rest for a minute because you glitch through the rock here. It's kind of funny. And if there are any other places where you can rest your stamina, please feel free to let me know in the comments. There is one more a little bit later on that I found on accident, and it caused me to go into a 2-hour fury of trying to find the rest, but a great place to just go ahead and get a couple of extra jumps in just to regen your stamina. But yeah, Boon of the Nomad. Nomad Colossus is one of the more infamous secret hunters of the game, and I've never personally really gotten into his videos, but he is a pretty high pillar, no pun intended, just in the Shadow community. And it's really cool that they gave him a little place in the forest to go and have a bit of a tribute to him. So I think I might check him out after this. I meant to do it earlier, but the series, when I'm just recording it, I gotta do it within like 24 hours. Otherwise, I'm just gonna be like, oh, I'll do it a little later. Why not? But once we get up to this point right here, there is going to be a spot for us to sort of transfer onto this wall here, and we can start climbing along this. I wonder if I actually just flip the footage, if that would make life easier for you guys, because nobody is playing this on, mirrored mode. This isn't the GameCube version of a Wii game, or vice versa. But it's more or less exactly what you would expect on the other side. I just personally have not played it on mirrored mode, and it's kind of cool. I just feel like I'd get thrown off. Okay, so from here, we're actually going to go and climb, well, maybe off. There we go. Do we go up? No, we don't. I think we just drop down, right? Yeah, let's drop down here. Ugh. It's okay. We're coming up on our next rest spot, and it's actually very hard to get onto, but our stamina is completely maxed out, so we don't have to worry too much about that. So let's go over here, and yeah, we're getting close to it, so not gonna worry. But next order of business is the fact that there are a couple of animals that you can go ahead and have yourself a grand old time on. I don't remember if I covered it in the project necessarily, but between both remake and remasters versions of the game, there are trophies tied to, you know, making friends with animals of the world, starting with, you know, the hawk, which you can grab onto. And I'm going to go ahead and get back into this for a second. Okay. So this little spot right here, you can see on the stone, there's like a little marking on it. And once you reach this circular sort of pillar here, there's a spot that you can actually hoist up onto very carefully. But you need to be holding the grip button in order to stay here. So this is the lone spot I've been able to find that has this happen. So the camera is not really going to cooperate with us. But yeah, in addition to flying on the hawk, which you can hold on to for a brief period of time, you can do the same thing to the white pigeons that are near Mono's sleeping place. And yeah, it's pretty freaky when you do it there because for all intents and purposes, I don't think a pigeon should be able to lift you that high, right? No matter how ragdolly the physics are. But yeah, just that one rest spot really makes this super easy. So next up, we've also got the fish. So in the PS3 version of the game, you had to hold on to the hawk and fish for 30 seconds each. And if you have a lot of stamina, it's not hard to do, but it's just one of those things where it's like, well, damn, that's kind of a long time, isn't it? Also, do I go around here, I suppose? This looks completely foreign to me. I guess we keep climbing up. Whoop, and not fall off there. But in this one, you just have to hold on for a certain, like, couple seconds just to make sure you have it. And last but not least is the hardest one, in my opinion, the turtle. So it's not really that hard. It's just a little wonky because you don't really expect it to do much. But it's still one of those things where you're not entirely sure you've made it until the trophy pops. You don't really have anything special happen because of it, but that's all right. But now that we've made it across up here, there is something you may need to do, and that's travel all the way across the bridge. It will take you 7 straight minutes of running, diving, crawling for your life to get to the very end, and that is yet another trophy, another rite of passage you may need to complete. So keep that in mind, and when you're playing on the PS4 version, you will actually end up picking up one of 79 golden coins. You will know you're near one when your controller makes a shimmering noise. You can make it come out of the TV too, but man, I did not even bother with that. I am so sorry. I considered it pretty heavily over the course of like a week, where I was like, should I get them all? But they are by and away one of the most difficult things to go by and collect, and I just didn't bother. I did not want to waste your time. I didn't want to waste my time. Because while the reward is really cool, I just don't think it would be worth playing through this game all that much more just to do that. And I'm so sorry, but we're not covering that in this project. That goes beyond the scope of what I wanted to do here. But the prize it gives you is actually in the basement of the Shrine of Worship. By praying at the western end with 79 coins in your possession, which are called the Enlightenments, you will be able to find yourself the Sword of Dorman. And it is really cool seeing it in action, and it is more powerful than the Queen's Sword, but it doesn't really seem like it would be worth it really to go for it, since the Queen's Sword can basically one-hit sigils anyway. But it is cool because it is shrouded in shadow, and it is written in the tongue that the Queen and Yorda speak in Eco. So that is a really cool aspect of the game, and I just wish it wasn't tied behind that. It took people kind of a while to finish all that and collecting it, which, trust me, I didn't even know those existed in this version of the game until I found one on accident, and I was like, what the damn? So I looked it up, and lo and behold, they added a ton of coins. They're just very difficult to find, and you actually do need to trick out the game pretty significantly. So I didn't want to go through that. But now that we're here, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Secret Garden. This place is amazing, and we have some fruits we gotta eat. So this is basically the last thing that I plan on doing in this game, which is so bittersweet. I know I've said that so many times before, but this forbidden fruit is very important. By eating it, it will decrease your stats significantly. But you eat it, and you get the trophy. The Horned Boy is accomplished by finishing every aspect of this game as far as the trophies are concerned. So thank God they didn't hide the coins behind that, because that would have been awful. But yeah, this has been a trial in the making, and I'm just so glad that I was able to finally finish it. Like I mentioned before, I would plan on revisiting this project at some point in the future if they did another remake for it, but like one that is a little bit more significant, I think. But yeah, it's been a great time, and I adore this game even to this day. I will say though, it's kind of funny, as I was replaying through my one recording file, I actually was having trouble on every single Colossus. I kept having to get them on second cycles, and I was kind of having a rough go of things. So I was like, man, this isn't a great sign of things to come. Also, we could fall down there if you really want. So that's great. Oh, something else I should probably mention. There are stats that you can look at. And so this can tell you basically everything that you would really want to do. So my fastest playthrough on normal is 2 hours, 2:20. So yeah, this is kind of cool. Oh my God, those looked really similar there for a second. I was like, how did I get 307 on both? I'm just dyslexic, that's all. So prayers, shining tails, fruits, special items thrown, harpoons, a lot of arrows. 1992, fantastic year. Zero is born, folks. Writing fish hawks. So, and this will tell you how many times you've defeated each of these characters, your fastest time, and things like that. So it's really cool to kind of see the stats on these, and I'm glad they added it. It just seems like kind of like one of those minor things where you're like, well, not the worst thing. Also, I beat you in a minute? Oh, that's right. Cool. I was like, how did I beat Dirge in a minute? But no, this is Dirge. So, yeah, this is a cool time. This one I was surprised I was able to get in 1:30. This was Pelagia, I think, or something like that. He was in the water. You had to smack his teeth. This one was cool too, single cycling. So yeah, it's just one of those things. 4 minutes and 4 minutes 55. So ooh, I beat. Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I ran across with the cloak of deception, and I just ran up him like that. So yeah, you really save a lot of time on that, but. That is it, folks. I don't know what else there is to say. I don't think there are any secrets, although... Do you hear that? There's a coin nearby. It also will shine and shimmer pretty bad when you get near it, but I'm not just hearing things. That wasn't in the control, was it? I don't think I need to shoot it down. I did very little effort in searching for these things, let me tell you. Why did I just now hear that? It's not. Oh, there it is. Okay, well, I'm just blind. Go grab that. Yeah, 1 down, 78 to go. I really hope it's 79 and not like 6 or 72 or something really random. Also, I'm pretty sure we can drop down here to our deaths, but is that the pool? Whoops, don't fall. Don't fall. Maybe we should, just for good measure. But that is it for Shadow of the Colossus, folks. I don't think there's anything else I had planned on showing as far as other stuff is concerned, because I already recorded the footage I needed for all of this, but this has been a grand old time, and I am grandstanding. So take care, everybody, and I will see you for whatever the future holds, which may or may not be a prequel. Also, I just came to the realization I did not talk about The Last Guardian once since starting this. Oh, there we go. That's appropriate. Take care, everybody. Thank you once again so much. And that is the end of this project. Talk to you guys next time.